And just take a few moments to settle in whatever position you decided to start your practice. Just start to feel the ground beneath you. Take notice of any noises you may hear in your environment and just let those go. Start to tune in to any feelings you might be bringing into practice today. Just take notice of the first thing that rises up. Maybe you're feeling anxious or happy. Maybe you're frustrated. Whatever feelings you're feeling now, just try to soften in around them and let them go. And start to scan your body, maybe starting from your head and moving down to your toes, or starting at your toes and finishing at your crown. As you scan your body, take notice of any areas of tension or discomfort and try to soften around those areas. Maybe trying to focus your breath, moving your breath to that area. And drawing your awareness back to the sensations you're feeling. Try to let that go. Letting all of your emotions, sensations, and thoughts go. Draw your awareness to your breath. Maybe you place one hand on your belly and one hand on your heart. And just tune in with yourself, with the breath moving through your body. Feeling your belly rise on your inhale and hollowing out on your exhale. Our breath is such a powerful force. It allows us to let go of what no longer serves us. If you're seated, come down to lying on your mat in whatever way you need to honor your body today. Maybe you need props to make that comfortable. When you're ready, hug your knees into your chest. Just pause here in stillness for a moment. Feel any changes in your breath. And extend both feet up towards the sky. Flex your feet. Just start to feel your hamstrings awaken. And then go ahead and point your toes up towards the sky. Moving nice and slow. Move back and forth between this flexing and pointing movement. Your hands can be down by your hips or on your thighs. And slowly start to rotate your ankles in one direction. And then rotate in the opposite direction. And hug both knees into your chest. Maybe rock side to side if that feels good. Keep your right knee hugging into your chest. Extend your left leg out long. Just take a moment to hug that right knee into your chest. Feel your left leg stretched out long on the mat. If you're feeling any discomfort in your lower back, feel free to bend that left knee and place your sole of your foot on the mat. Clasp your hands behind your right hamstring. Extend your right foot up towards the sky. Softly pull that right leg towards your body. You can keep your hands here behind your hamstring, or you can always move your hands up towards your calf. Your right foot can be flexed or pointed, whatever feels comfortable for you. Try to invite your breath to your right hamstring and try to soften in. We're here for 3 more slow, deep breaths. And go ahead and hug your right knee in towards your chest. And extend it out long. Hug your left knee into your chest. Your right leg is out long, or you can always bend that right knee, place your right foot on the mat. Clasp your hands behind your left hamstring. Extend your foot up towards the sky. Gently pull or hug that left leg in towards your body. If you want, you can stay here or extend your arms up towards your calf. Remember to breathe here. We're here for 2 more cycles of breath. And slowly lower your left leg back down to the mat. Bring your hands down to your hips. Your soles of your feet are flat on the mat. We're going to slowly come into a few bridge lifts here. We're not going to fully lift into bridge, but just about halfway. So inhale and slowly rise up, pushing your hips towards the sky, tightening your glutes, and then slowly lower down. And on your inhale, slowly rise up. And exhale, slowly lower down. Inhale, slowly rise up. Exhale, slowly rise down. Go ahead and stay down. Relax into the mat here. Hug both knees into your chest. You may rock side to side or stay in stillness. And when you're ready, make your way over to a tabletop position. Place your hands in line with your shoulders, knees in line with your hips. Just take a moment to check in with your alignment, hugging your belly in and up, pushing down through the palms of your hands. Your fingers are spread wide. And go ahead and place your right foot on the outside edge of your right hand. You can tuck your left toes under, lift your left knee off the mat, slowly walk that left foot back to the back of your mat. Drop your left knee down, untuck your toes. Just take a moment to check in with your back foot. Make sure it's pointing straight towards the back of the mat. It's not sickling in. And feel the stretch in your left hip flexor or your psoas. Just breathe into the stretch here. And then slowly sink your hips back. Straighten your right leg, bow forward. And then slowly come forward. Pausing here for a few slow, deep breaths. Check in with that right foot. Make sure it's still parallel to the long side of your mat. And slowly sink your hips back. Straighten your right leg. Bow in towards your chest. And slowly come up, bend into your right knee. Place your left hand down on the mat. Bring your right hand to your hip. Slowly rotate that shoulder back. You can keep your hand on your hip or stretch your right arm overhead. Gaze up over your right thumb. Stay with me for 3 slow, deep breaths. And lower your right hand down into in the inside edge of your right foot. Bring your right knee back to meet your left. Come back into tabletop. Bring your left foot to the outside edge of your left hand. Tuck your right toes under. Lift your right knee off the mat. Walk your right foot back. Lower your right knee. Untuck your right toes. Gaze over your right shoulder. Just check in with that back foot and make sure it's nice and straight. Toes pointing towards the back of your mat. Feel the stretch in your right hip flexor. Take a few slow, deep breaths here. And slowly sink your hips back, straighten your left leg, bow in towards your chest. Your left toes might come off the mat, that's okay, or they can stay down on the mat. And slowly bend into your left knee, coming forward. Pause here, checking in with that left foot, making sure it's still parallel to the long side of your mat. And then slowly sink your hips back, straighten your left leg, bow in towards your chest. And slowly come back up to 90-degree angle in your left leg. Place your right hand down on the mat. Bring your left hand to your hip. Roll your shoulder down your back. You can stay here or extend your left arm overhead. Gaze can be straight ahead or up over your left thigh. If at any time this becomes too much, you can just come back down, bring your hands on the mat. And slowly lower your left hand back down to the mat. Bring your left knee back to meet your right. Bring your knees wide, big toes together, sink your hips down and back, stretch your arms out in front of you, come into child's pose. Take a few slow, deep breaths here. And slowly start to walk your hands over towards the right side of your mat, stretching out through your left side body. You have the option to stack your left hand on top of your right. Let your hips stay heavy, sinking down towards your heels. And walk your hands back to center, taking a pause in the middle. And walk your hands over towards the left side of your mat. Again, you have the option to stack your left hand on top of your right. Feel the stretch in your right side body. And walk your hands back to center. Taking a pause here. And come up to tabletop. Make sure your knees are in line with your hips. Slowly walk your hands out in front of you. Bring your forehead down to the mat, coming into puppy dog pose. Squeeze your elbows together. Your hands should be pulling towards your body. Feel the stretch in your back and your shoulders. Hug your belly in and up. And slowly come up. Lower your elbows down to the mat. Bring your hands to a prayer position. Lower your forehead back down to the mat. And then slowly bring your thumbs down towards your shoulder blades, resting them on the base of your neck. Take a few slow, deep breaths here. Remember to keep your belly pulling in and up. You always have the option to take a child's pose. And lower your hands back down to the mat. Release your palms. Come up to tabletop. Spread your fingers wide. Point your fingers pointing towards the top of your mat. Hands are shoulder width apart. Tuck your toes under. Lift your hips up and back. Come into down dog. Squeeze your elbows together. Rotate your shoulders out. Take a few slow, deep breaths here. Make yourself comfortable. Adjust however you see fit. Maybe you'd like to come up onto your tippy toes and sink your heels down. Maybe you want to pedal one foot out. Just take 2 more slow, deep breaths here. And lift your right leg high in the air. Thread it through for low lunge. Ground down through the soles of your feet. Pause here. And then bend your left knee and step your left foot up to meet your right. Bow forward. Inhale, hands to shins, spine long, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, circle sweep arms to sky. Exhale, bring your hands to heart center. Inhale, circle sweep arms to sky. Exhale, swan dive forward. Inhale, hands to shins, spine long, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your palms down, step your right foot back, step your left foot back, come into plank. Engage your core, tighten through your quads. You have the option to push right back to down dog, or you can lower all the way down to the mat. Untuck your toes, plant your palms down under your shoulders, lift your heart off the mat, come into cobra or up dog. Lower down, tuck your toes, push back to down dog. Take a pause here. And then inhale, reach your left leg high in the air. Exhale, thread it through for low lunge. Ground down through the soles of your feet. Bend into your right knee. Place your right foot next to your left and bow forward. Inhale, hands to shins, spine long, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, circle sweep, arms to sky. Exhale, bring your hands to heart center. Inhale, reach your arms overhead. Exhale, swan dive forward. Inhale, hands to shins, spine long, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your palms down, step your left foot back, step your right foot back, come into plank. Engage your core. You have the option to push right back to down dog, or you can take a vinyasa. So if you're taking a vinyasa, go ahead and lower down, untuck your toes, come into cobra or up dog, push back to down dog. Take a pause here. Inhale, reach your right leg high in the air. Exhale, thread it through for low lunge. Ground down through the soles of your feet. Make sure your right hip is pulling back. You can put your right thumb in your right hip crease. Just try to tilt it back, making sure your hips are in line. Rooting down through your feet. Slowly start to rise up to high lunge. Extend your arms overhead, shoulders away from the ears. Take a big inhale, pull your belly in and up. And on your exhale, slowly start to turn your left heel down, bring your arms parallel to the mat, come into warrior two. Settle in here. Make sure you're sinking into your right knee with a 90-degree angle. Your right knee should be tracking towards your right little toe. Your heel should be in line with the arch of your foot. Arms are straight out. Flip your front palm. Slowly start to reach your right arm overhead, gazing up over your right fingers. Left hand is traveling down your left leg. Feel the stretch in your right side body. And slowly rise back up to warrior two. Slowly start to straighten your front leg. Hinge at your hips. Lower your right hand down to your shin, the mat, or a block, keeping a micro bend in your right knee. Roll that left shoulder blade down and back, extending your arm overhead. Gaze up over your left thumb. If that feels uncomfortable, keep your gaze straight. Energetically pulling your feet towards each other. We're here for one more slow, deep breath. And bend into your right knee. Slowly start to rise back up to warrior two. Slowly start to straighten your right knee. Bring your right leg straight. Arms are out to a T. Flip your front palm. Come into reverse triangle. Take a few slow, deep breaths here. And then bend into your right knee. Slowly bring your arms back out to a T. Windmill your hands back down to frame your front foot. Spin off your back heel. Bend your left knee. Step your left foot up to meet your right. Forward fold. Inhale, hands to shins, spine long, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, circle sweep, arms to sky. Exhale, bring your hands to heart center. Bring your big toes together. Leave a little space between your heels. Slowly start to sink your hips down and back. Your hands can stay here at heart center. You can extend them out in front of you, bringing them parallel to the mat, or you can raise your arms up overhead in line with your ears. Check in with the shoulders. Make sure your shoulders are melted away from the ears. We're here for 2 more slow, deep breaths. Keep your belly in and up. And slowly lower your hands down to the mat. Come into a forward fold. Inhale, hands to shins, spine long, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, circle sweep, arms to sky. Exhale, bring your hands to heart center. Inhale, circle sweep, arms to sky. Exhale, swan dive forward. Inhale, hands to shins, spine long, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your palms down, step back to plank. Engage your core. Make sure your shoulders and wrists are in line, fingers are spread wide. You can stay here, you can push back to down dog, or you can take a vinyasa. So if you're gonna lower down, come into cobra or up dog, push back to down dog. Take a moment to check in here. Look up between your hands, adjust if necessary. Lift your left leg high in the air. Exhale, thread it through for low lunge. Root down through the soles of your feet. Remember to check in with those hips. You can always adjust by placing your left thumb in your left hip crease, pulling that left hip back. Root down, slowly rise up to high lunge. Keep your belly in and up, shoulders away from the ears. Take a big inhale, and on your exhale, lower your right heel down. Spin your arms open to warrior 2, gazing over your left fingers. Flip your front palm, lift that arm overhead, gaze up over your left fingers. Come into reverse warrior. Feel the stretch in your left side body. Take a few slow, deep breaths here. And slowly rise back up to warrior 2. Start to straighten your front leg. Hinge at your hips. Bring your left hand down to your shin mat or a block. Extend your right arm overhead. Check in with your right shoulder. Make sure your heart is open. Your shoulder blade is coming down your back. Stay here for a few slow, deep breaths. Slowly start to bend into your left knee. Root down through your feet. Slowly come back up to warrior 2. Take a pause here. And then slowly start to straighten that left leg. Bring your right palm down to your right leg. Extend that left arm overhead, reverse your triangle. Gaze up over your left fingers. Remember to breathe. And then slowly bend into your left knee. Come back into warrior two. Windmill your hands back down to frame your front foot. Spin off your back heel. Slightly bend your right knee. Step forward with your right foot. Place it next to your left. Fold forward. Inhale, hands to shins, spine long, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, circle sweep, arms to sky. Exhale, bring your hands to heart center. Bring your big toes together. Separate your heels. Slowly sink your hips down and back. Come into chair pose. Hands can stay here at heart center, or you can take any of the options that we offered earlier. Arms overhead, straight out in front of you. Stay with me for 3 slow, deep breaths. Remember to keep your belly in and up. And fold forward. Inhale, hands to shins, spine long, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward, plant your palms, step back to down dog. Take a few slow, deep breaths here. And come forward to plank. You have the option to push back to down dog or take a child's pose, or you can take a vinyasa. So lower down, come into cobra or up dog, push back to down dog. Find your breath here. Take 2 more slow, deep breaths. Look up at your hands. Step your feet up to the top of your mat. And fold forward. Inhale, hands to shins, spine long, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, circle sweep, arms to sky. Exhale, bring your hands to heart center. Root down through your left standing foot. Take your right palm, flip it open out to your side. Bring it slightly behind you. Start to bend your right knee. Capture the inside of your right foot with your right hand. Extend your arm overhead. Slowly hinge forward, kick that right foot back, come into dancer's pose. If this is too much, just come out. You can stay in mountain pose. Find your drishti. Remember to breathe here. Feel tall through your left standing leg. We're here for 2 more slow, deep breaths. And slowly start to rise back up. Release your right foot down to the mat. Lower your left hand back down. Take a big inhale here. And a big exhale. And let's set up for the other side. Place your right foot down on the mat. For everyone that was in class the other night, you might know this trick already, but anybody that wasn't, you can lift your toes up off the mat on that standing leg if you're ever feeling unstable. And you can just slowly lower down by each toe, starting with your pinky toe and going all the way down to your big toe. It helps root you down in the mat. It's a little trick. So if you ever feel like you're not stable, it's a good thing to try. So to set up, flip your left palm, bend your left knee, clasp your hand on the inside edge of your left foot, right in the arch. Extend your right arm overhead. Take a big breath in. Find your stability in your right standing leg and slowly hinge forward. Kick your left foot into your left palm. Come into dancer's pose. Again, if you feel like this is too much, just come out. Stay in mountain pose. We're here for 3 more slow, deep breaths. And slowly start to rise back up. Release your left foot down to the mat. Lower your right hand back down to the mat. Inhale, extend your arms overhead. Exhale, swan dive forward. Inhale, hands to shins, spine long, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your palms down. Step back to down dog. Take a big inhale here. And reach your right leg high in the air. Exhale, bring your right foot to the outside edge of your right hand. You can bring your hands together. Thumbs can come to touching. Fingers are still spread wide. Make sure your right foot is parallel to the outside edge of your mat. Lower your left knee down. Untuck your left toes. Just check in with that left foot, making sure it's not sickling. You can stay here, or if you'd like, you can lower your elbows down to the mat. You can also lower them down to a block. Remember, blocks have 3 settings, so find what works for you. I want you to just check in if you came down on your elbows. Where is your weight on your elbows? Most likely it's going to be in your left elbow. Just take a moment to try to adjust so that your weight is evenly distributed between your right and your left elbow. You can keep your foot parallel here, knee hugging into your right shoulder, or you can roll over onto the outside edge of your right foot, letting your right knee splay out to the side. Settle in here in lizard pose. We're here for 5 slow, deep breaths. If you drop down to your elbows, come up onto your palms, remove any blocks you have. Tuck your left toes under, lift your left knee off the mat, ground down through your palms, come back to down dog. Maybe shake your hips out here, if that feels good. Maybe stay in stillness. And on your next inhale, lift your left leg high in the air. Exhale, place your left foot on the outside edge of your left hand. Bring your thumbs to touch. Check in with that left foot, making sure it's parallel to the long side of your mat. Drop your right knee down to the mat. Untuck your right toes. Gaze over your right shoulder. Just check in with that right foot. Again, you have the option to stay up here on your palms, or you can come down on your elbows on the mat. Find a block or anything that you have at home, a pillow, and you can come down onto your elbows. Check in with the weight. On this side, obviously, it's probably going to be heavier on your right elbow. Try to bring your awareness to that and evenly distribute some weight onto that left elbow. Again, you can keep your left knee hugging in towards your shoulder, or you can roll over onto your left outside of your foot, splaying your knee out to the side. We're here for 5 slow, deep breaths. If you lower down onto your elbows, slowly come up onto your palms, remove any blocks you have. Lower your left foot down. Tuck your right toes under, lift your right knee off the mat. Step back to down dog. Just check in here. We're here for 5 slow, deep breaths. On your inhale, straighten through your arms. And on your exhale, lower your heels down towards the mat. And slowly lower your knees down to the mat. Come into tabletop. Set up here, making sure your wrists are in line with your shoulders, knees in line with your hips. Step your right foot behind you. You can keep it down on the mat, or you can slowly lift that right foot off the mat, bringing your leg to hip level. Hugging in through your core, flexing that right foot. You have the option to stay here, or you can extend that left arm out in front of you. You can stay here, or you can lower your thumb down towards the mat. Your palm is facing out towards the left side. You can reach around, grab for your right foot, stretch out through your left shoulder. Find your balance here. We're here for 2 more slow, deep breaths. And lower everything down. Come back to tabletop. Bring your knees wide, big toes together, sink back for child's pose. Take a pause here. And come back up to tabletop. Check in, adjust, And then lift your left leg behind you. Your foot can be on the mat, or you can lift that left leg up to hip level. Flex your left foot, hugging in through your core. You have the option to stay here or extend that right arm out in front of you, coming into a spinal balance. Option to stay here or turn your thumb down, right hand, right palm facing out towards the right side. Reach around for that left foot, stretching out through your right shoulder. Root down through that left hand, right knee. We're here for 2 more slow, deep breaths. And lower everything down, come back to tabletop. Spread your knees out wide, big toes together, sink your hips down and back, come back to child's pose. And take a few slow, deep breaths here. Come up onto your fingertips on your left hand. Extend your right arm overhead. Slowly thread that right hand under your body. Bring your right cheek to the mat. Gaze over your right fingertips. You can lower your left palm back down to the mat. Take a few slow, deep breaths here. Tune in to any sensations that you feel and invite your breath to let it all go. And rise up onto your left fingertips. Place your right hand out in front of you. Sink your forehead back to the mat. Come into child's pose. Come up onto your right fingertips. Extend your left arm overhead. Thread your left arm under your body. Rest your left cheek on the mat. Lower your right palm. Try to soften in. Use your breath to let any tension go. And slowly come up onto your right fingertips. Place your left hand out in front of you. Lower your forehead to the mat. Just check in. Take a few breaths here. And slowly rise up to tabletop. And make your way over to your seat, grounding down through your sit bones. Knees are pointing up towards the sky. The soles of your feet are on the mat. You can place your hands on the back of your hamstrings, or you can bring your arms out straight in front of you. We're going to slowly lower all the way down, but we're going to engage our core. So use your core. Don't flop down. Let's go down on the count of 10. So keep your arms out in front of you, or for added support under your hamstrings. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And release. Knees can point towards the sky. Hands can be down by your hips. Just take a pause here. I want you to tune in and decide what inversion you are going to take. Go with whatever comes up first for you. If you need some options, you can either do legs up the wall, plow, shoulder stand, headstand, whatever is calling you today or is in your practice. Go ahead and set up for that now. When you're ready, go ahead and make your way into that inversion. If you're following along with me, go ahead and straighten your legs straight up towards the ceiling. Your palms can face up by your hips. You can flex your feet. Relax your neck and your shoulders into the mat. Tune in with your breath. Make sure you're breathing. We're here for 5 more slow, deep breaths. And wherever you are, make your way out of your asana and hug your knees into your chest. Maybe rocking side to side. And come to stillness with your knees hugging into your chest. Just take a moment to pause here. Bring your knees up to a 90-degree angle. Anchor your arms out to a T. Palms face down. Lower your knees over to the left side of your mat. Gaze over your right shoulder. You can bring your left hand to the outside edge of your right thigh. Coming in to a supine twist. Take a few slow, deep breaths here. Anchor your left hand back down on the mat. Using your core, lift your legs back up to center. Pause in the middle. And then lower your knees over towards the right side of your mat. Gaze over your left fingers. Your right hand can rest on the left outside of your thigh. Take a few slow, deep breaths here in supine twist. Release your right hand back down to the mat and slowly lower your knees or lift your knees back to center. Hug your knees in towards your chest. You can stay here or go ahead and reach around for the outside of your hamstrings or the outside edges of your feet. Come into happy baby. At this time, if there's any pose or asana you would like to do to complete your practice today, please feel free to do so. And when you're ready, make your way into relaxation. Maybe today you feel like putting your legs up a wall. Maybe you need a blanket or a bolster. Go ahead and set up in whatever way you need. And when you're ready, relax into Shavasana. Flip your palms up. Try to wiggle out, making sure you're very grounded. Relaxing your forehead, your eyes, softening your shoulders, your upper back and your lower back, softening your belly and your hips. Letting your arms heavy, your hands and fingers relaxing out. Softening your glutes and your hamstrings. Relaxing your knees. Softening your calves. Releasing your ankles, your feet, and your toes. Letting everything go. Letting your focus only be on your breath. Slowly start to deepen your breath, inviting movement back into your body. You may stretch your arms overhead, stretch out through your feet, or hug your knees into your chest. When you're ready, make your way over onto your right side. Maybe pause here, taking a few more deep breaths. When you're ready, make your way up to a seated position. Root down through your sits bones. Sit up nice and tall through your crown. Close your eyes and bring your hands to heart center. Attachment leads to suffering. Yoga teaches us to step back, to be aware that we are aware, and helps us to realize that we don't need to attach feelings, thoughts, or worry to anything. We can just be aware that we are aware and settle in, accepting things just as they are. Thank you for sharing your practice with me. The light in me sees and honors the light in each one of you. Namaste.